Coming up on ECG, the Orville might be more Trek than Trek.
IDW blame game.
Seriously, is CBS even trying to do Star Trek?
Nintendo don't do that.
I don't know if you're yelling at me or at Nintendo. Obviously, a rant and more coming up on the East Coast Geek podcast. Welcome to episode 113 of the East Coast Geek Podcast for Friday, September 29th, 2017, where we bring you all the latest news in comics, movies, and gaming, sometimes. I'm your host, Jeremy, and with me, as always, the fabulous Beard of Opu.
And the rest of Opu as well.
And the rest of Opu as well. How you doing, bud?
Pretty good. I guess we're still new to this podcasting thing and making sure everything's...
it wouldn't be a live show if something didn't frickin' go wrong. So it happens. It happens, people.
I'm usually the walking disaster of this show, so
yeah,
it's nice. It's nice for a change of pace.
I'm now the champ, chump, something like that. So what have you been up to? I know we didn't have a show last weekend for good reasons, kind of.
Yeah, good and bad reasons.
Still recovering personally on some other stuff, but Friday night was great fun. We had our first D&D session together ever.
Yeah, and that was my first time DMing, and I had to wing some stuff on the fly because homebrewing I am not good at yet, and so I had monsters way too powerful.
So not only was this your first time DMing.
Yeah.
But you're also homebrewing and highballing the attackers.
Oh yeah. These guys, I was like, 90 hit points shouldn't be too bad. It's 4 people.
Yeah, right.
And then I was like, okay, maybe I need to drop it down to 75, halfway through. Well, to be fair, also I was rolling really bad because, like I said, I had these one-man armies that were supposed to be this epic battle. And I kept rolling like 10s and stuff, and I should have just lied because I was a DM. I should have said, oh yeah, that's another natural 20. Why did I get 5 in a row? Who knows? By the way, this was the final boss that you were supposed to fight was this guy, or run away from.
He's so cute. He looks like
For perspective sakes, your characters were about this tall to him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or this would have been better.
Some genius decided to go run up and try and poke it in the belly.
Yeah, I wonder who did that. Who tried to go talk to this beast of rage and raw power? Huh? I'm sure he's not on the chat right now, is he?
Probably not. You know how.
But it was fun.
So yeah, it was a blast. And it got me remotivated, and now I want to undertake probably what is the most prolific story in all of D&D. Obviously one of the most famous ones. I plan to run the Curse of Strahd, which is based on the original Ravenloft that was written back in, the early 80s?
70s or 80s, yeah. And not only that, it's also notorious for killing players.
Yeah, so
there's that.
Oh, walked up. Yeah, well, ran up was more of a...
Sauntered. That's what you did.
There we go.
As a high elf.
So I'll see if I can get a TPK.
Knowing the group that you're going to be DMing for, that's going to be too easy.
Yeah, right. Nobody can roll anyways. So it was fun. We plan to... I don't know if we're gonna... we probably should start recording at least the rest of your homebrew. But we're definitely going to record, stream, and archive through podcast form the Curse of Strahd when we start doing that, because I got plans for things like that for music and stuff. So theatrics will be in play. It ought to be interesting.
You were casting magic missile all the time. You didn't even have to worry about aiming.
Yeah, right.
So don't even pull that, buddy.
You're like, I auto attack.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I auto attack. Oh yeah. Maximum damage on each time.
All right, so we want to get right into the meat and potatoes of my rant, because
yes, let's do it.
We love when I rant. I think everybody does. I watched over the past week. I have watched just that one. I have watched both the Orville and Star Trek, and the Orville is at. Actually, I still got to watch the 4th episode that just released on Thursday. They're at 4 episodes now. So before I watched Star Trek Discovery, I watched the Orville up to episode 3, and let me tell you, that show is really deceptive. Your first episode is your crappy establishing episode, which every show has to do, kinda. Or every show should do. I think sometimes shows should just pick up in the middle of things. And Star Trek Discovery did that, to be fair. They kind of just picked up and you had no idea what was going on to start. But the Orville, being a completely new series and nobody knew what to expect, it was good for McFarlane to go ahead and establish the characters and establish the roles and everything. They are for all intents and purposes, a Star Trek show, and they do it a lot better than Star Trek's doing right now. They have covered some pretty hard-hitting topics to start, like divorce and infidelity in a marriage, and then putting those two in the same room for the rest of the show. They also touched on episode 3, involuntary child's gender rearrangement. So it got a little social commentary in there to start. But it was, to be fair, a very serious episode. There was not really a lot of joking in it.
A very special episode of Blossom.
Which is, yeah, right. Watch out for Pacey. I'll get you. I liked it because it was serious and it took itself seriously. And that's important, because what Seth MacFarlane wants to do is have a Star Trek show. And they're not letting him have a Star Trek show, so he said, screw you guys, I'm going to go to Fox and I'm going to go do my own thing. I'm pleasantly surprised with what they did. If you think back to like the Encounter at Farpoint, it wasn't really a great episode, I understand. The Next Generation, it was cheesy at best to start. And this has kind of got some of that cheese to it. The second episode was basically a rehash of Chain of Command from The Next Generation. If you're familiar with that episode, do you know which one that is or no? You know,
I don't remember. I haven't watched
Picard and number 1 take off. They drop the bridge down to a security officer or something like that. The captain's not there. The second in command's not there. So they put the next officer in line in a tough place to make decisions. So
that sounds familiar.
It was in Star Trek. Familiar. They've done it before. So I said he wants to do Star Trek. He's doing Star Trek, and he's doing it well. They have an interesting lineup of characters and actors. It's a good show so far. Now, on to Star Trek Discovery. Or should I call it Star Trek Klingons? Because this is good, too. You're going to love this. I know you're going to love it. Oh yeah. It's that bad. So, the whole first and second episode were basically Klingon warfare and Klingon backstory. You're getting the whole deal with the Klingons, even though we already know what's going on. And basically they've been in incommunicado with with Starfleet and all that, because they don't like those Starfleet people, because they're just gonna make Klingons be just like everybody else. The worst part about it was all of the Klingon stuff was in Klingon. And I understand they were trying to please a certain crowd, but when there was important stuff going on the screen, instead of watching what was going on and looking at what they spent all that money on doing, I was reading subtitles. And the Klingons talk in capital block letters. Isn't that awesome?
Well, they're always screaming at each other, right?
Right, yeah. Something about without honor, I don't know.
Honor, blah, 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 blah.
Worf's pissed off and stomping off the bridge. Anyways, so it's also really dark in the future, at least in this galaxy for Discovery.
The only source of light is lens flares.
Listen, Perry. I only have so much time in my life. I can't spend it on learning a language that I don't really.
I can't even get him to read basic books.
You know,
okay?
I'm struggling reading this freaking module for Curse of Strahd too. So, and then I have to gesticulate on that. Anyways, let's see. So we covered the Klingons because they were 2/3 of the show, literally. The conduct of the officers on the ship, because they're not on Discovery. The show's called Star Trek Discovery. We won't see Discovery till next episode on Sunday night. They did a lot of establishment with a crew that'll mostly not be involved with the rest of the show, especially given the fate of the ship that they were on. Michelle Yeoh being the captain. Okay, so here's a good part. I'll give Star Trek this. The beginning of Star Trek was Star Trek. The captain, and I can't remember if she was her first officer at the time. I think so. I think it was her first officer. They went planet-side doing an away mission to help some indigenous people on a planet, okay?
I thought they weren't supposed to do that.
Only if necessary to save a civilization. That's part of the Prime Directive.
Okay.
So to preserve...
So was this necessary to save civilization?
What's that? Yes, it was. They were about to go into a bad storm and a sandstorm for years and years and years. And the only way they were going to be able to save them was to bring the well that was nearby back to life. So they shot calibrated blaster shots down the well and reinvigorated the well, and it started springing water up from it again. And then they got off the planet. But the ship came really close to the planet within the sandstorm, and you could see it right on the edge of the sandstorm, which they're not supposed to do, but whatever. What's up, Jay and Savory? That's pretty awesome. So anyway, so it had a neat start. It had that scientific start. The rest of it was garbage action film for the next, I don't know, about an hour and 15 minutes or so. It was hot action garbage. It was literally like a movie. That's what that was. It was 2 episodes, and they split it up with credits and everything, but it was basically like one continuous movie. You have the main character who is human, but oh, okay, J and S Avery, what's up, man? Yeah, I know who you are. Anyways,
yeah, you're related to Tex Avery, right?
Yeah, right. And Steve Avery, the pitcher.
That's the wrong type of fandom to be talking about. Cartoons, man.
Oh, okay.
Not sports.
All right. So anyway, so the first officer, who is Sonequa Martin Green, I think it is, from The Walking Dead. She is a human, but she went to go train to be a good officer. She wanted to learn how to get rid of emotion, so she went and trained with Sarek. So we got to drag some mainline Star Trek into it as well. So it's whatever. Obviously, like I said, Discovery won't show up till episode 3. I thought that was an interesting and creative decision. But at the end of the episode, we got surprised with a up next on Star Trek Discovery, or this season, which is funny because we'll go ahead and segue into the other comment that you showed. Oh yeah, we'll have to cover that too. Anyways, Discovery. There's a question in the air now about how long it'll survive, and Mitch, you shared an article this morning. It seems like CBS is only doing it to sell their platform. Wasn't that what that said?
Pretty sure that's what it said. And if they're referring to platform as in their online thing, all they have is Star Trek. It's CBS. I mean, they had like cartoons in the past. They had Project Geeker. I think they had the Twisted Tales of Felix the Cat. Does that count? Don't they have 60 Minutes? We've referenced that before.
Isn't CBS on, or isn't the A-Team on CBS? Isn't that one of their titles too? You can catch all the episodes of, let's see, CBS All access. Let's see what they got.
Tell you what, remind us when we get to gaming, and we'll talk about Cuphead a little bit.
Yeah, all your favorite shows. Let's see what all my favorite shows are on CBS.
All
48 hours, 60 minutes, the Emmys.
The Emmys.
Thank God that.
Yeah, do you want to go watch the Emmys from the 80s?
No.
That's what I want.
It's the recent Emmys, and it didn't do that good.
It's called a joke.
All 244 episodes of a man who was obsessed with children. Seventh Heaven.
That's exactly what they want to put on there.
And not to be out of the trend, after Star Trek aired, there was an After Trek show, so they're stealing that from AMC. Beauty and the Beast. Beauty and the Beast, the old Beauty and the Beast with Linda Hamilton.
Oh, didn't that only run for like 2 seasons?
55 episodes. So yeah. Big Bang Theory, Blue Bloods. You get the picture. It's some all right stuff, I guess. CSI, Criminal Minds.
It's not like if you say, hey, Fox is streaming stuff, and you go, oh my goodness, that's Firefly, that's Dark Angel, that's the good Family Guy, that's the original Futurama, that's Simpsons, that's the live action take, that's the cartoon take, that's Big Guy, Rescue Boy Robot, that's, and you can go on and on and on like that. Of course, Most of mine, because I'm that kind of guy, I'm going to reference cartoons that they owned in the past.
Right. It's so I don't know. And even worse is that I was reading into that article a little more, and they said that CBS will make more than $2 per subscription, and that puts them at like what? I think it said $2.1 billion for the year. If they had secured about 96 million subscriptions like they said they were, but I've heard tale from other podcasters and other people that I know that hey, they're canceling it in between. So like there's going to be a season break at the beginning or middle of December for the winter break, and then they're going to start it back up again. And they're like, well, if there's only one episode, I'm just going to cancel my subscription for that month and catch back up when it picks back up and I keep getting episodes. So people are going to play it smart and not spend the money if they don't have to, because they don't, because CBS doesn't have anything that people want.
Well, here's the thing, like Netflix and most of these other online places that I know of, well, okay, Hulu doesn't, but they release, I don't know how Hulu does it. Do they release it weekly with their original shows? You have Hulu, right? I don't have Hulu anymore.
Hulu? When they're
release it all in one go?
I don't know. Well, how many freaking original TV shows did they have?
They've got like The Path.
I think they did a bulk release. Of that.
Well, so. Yeah, most of them. Well, Netflix. Like love them or hate them, they are the trendsetters for all of this, pretty much. And they release their stuff in bulk, and people love it. People will binge that stuff. People will re-binge it over and over. I've watched a lot of Netflix only shows several times in a row.
No,
even though I still haven't done Defenders yet.
The Path was released weekly.
Oh wow! Okay, well I guess never mind.
That's very interesting.
I'll retract my statement.
Yeah, well, but Netflix still does it. I mean, and that's the bad thing.
Netflix does it.
So
Hulu
some
does
people,
it.
It's counterintuitive to people that do like shows, right after the show or right after the episode shows or that week, that they can't sit and break down and analyze what just happened. They can't go talk to their friends, or unless their friends sitting there watching with them. So there's no decompression.
That makes me think of another thing. Like, so they're releasing a few episodes. They're going to go on hiatus for like midwinter or whatever, and then they're going to start it up again.
Yeah, in like January or February, whatever.
It seems like they're applying old tactics, like old TV tactics, to more modern stuff where we want to be able to sit and watch it as soon. Okay, even weekly, they shouldn't stop releasing it weekly. Because guess what? You guys will be the only show on the air at that point. I hate having to wait though. I can't stand that anticipation. Oh, and then you miss a week.
Well, that means you got
then
2
you
episodes
can't find
to watch.
it. You remember that? And then all your buddies at the water cooler or in the gym or whatever are like, oh, did you see that last episode of Superman? And you have to wait until maybe you get lucky and you wake up early one morning and it's on at 6 in the morning for whatever reason. No, I hated waiting.
So I'm watching, so I'm listening to a podcast.
Unless I can get it back,
I'm listening to a podcast called the Damn Fine Podcast, and it's about Twin Peaks. And they started sometime, I think, earlier this year, when before the release of the new season, and they're talking about they're talking about this where if they dump all the episodes, then you have to binge them all, and it's not as fun because you don't get to take the mental break with everybody. But back in the day when Twin Peaks was on the air. And people were joining like halfway through. They weren't able to find copies of the show anywhere because who had the VHS tapes because they recorded over last week's with this week's, so they didn't have any way to catch up. You know what I mean?
So I can agree with that. If you could have access to the previous episode, like HBO Go or whatever,
right,
or whatever Hulu does,
Hulu and arguably
Hulu, Netflix being Netflix, you have access to that old show. Oh, well, I missed it on Friday night because I had to go buy groceries, or I had to work late, or there was a donkey in the middle of the road and delayed traffic for 6 hours. You can just go and watch it whenever you get there,
Right.
You don't have... Yeah, but back in the good old days, you missed it. You better wait until next week. And you better hope you get there early so they can do the recap episode. DVR on demand. I'm not going to buy DVR on demand. That was always a separate thing when I could just find it online.
Right, yeah.
Rich
well,
people.
I mean, he means that was the happy medium. I mean,
Now, when that did happen, yes, that was like the perfect thing to do because you could program it, but then your parents couldn't figure out how to program it, so you had to go and program it, and then they would get into it, and then they would delete what you had programmed, and then download The Price is Right 15 times.
Did you know that TiVo still exists in some form or fashion?
Listen, there's people out there with dial-up internet, so yes, I absolutely believe that.
Is this people that still live back home where you're from?
You know what? There's probably people where I'm from that don't know about the internet.
Oh God. All right. Well, why don't we shelve this for now because
let's break it down this way. Orville and Star Trek. Which one would, if you had to pick just one of those to stay, which one would you pick?
I'd probably say the Orville. I feel like it's probably on the path that it's going to be actual Star Trek. Even from the second episode, the second episode, the Chain of Command one, which it's not really called Chain of Command, but it's that episode. Had some cool stuff because they were talking about you're getting a little bit of the universe here and there, and they're like, okay, well, where are the captain and the first officer? And they're in a zoo that's controlled by these people that feel like they're the highest life forms around, and everybody else is just a sad creature, and they actually have a zoo full of people. So they're introducing a little bit of the story as they go, and I mean it's kind of hard for Star Trek to do that because they pigeonhole themselves in technology and races that are available. Excuse me. Because they decided to put themselves between Enterprise and the original series. If they would have went past Voyager, past Deep Space Nine, they could have been the cutting edge and invented new things, more technology. Now the ships feel like they have too much technology on them compared to what Kirk had, and even what oh my God,
Picard?
No. It was
Jane?
right here. No, not Janeway. The Enterprise captain.
The guy from
it was
not Sea Lab, but what was it?
Yeah,
SCV or whatever it was.
No.
That wasn't the guy? That wasn't the same guy?
Archer. Captain Archer. Played by Scott Bakula. He was
what
right
was
there.
He in?
Enterprise. The show.
No, what else was he in? That's why I was referencing his acting history.
He was in Quantum Leap back when we were younger.
Oh yeah, there you go. That was it.
Yeah.
No, there was somebody else that I was thinking of.
Oh, okay.
Remember the C Lab show, but they had like the talking dolphin and stuff. It wasn't a cartoon; it was live action.
Yeah.
But I'm calling it C Lab. I forget what it was. It were they on a sub?
Oh, that's Sequest.
Sequest, right?
Yeah, that was Jonathan Brandis, and I'm trying to buy time. I'm sure somebody will pop that up. Oh man, no, was it Sequest? Sequest DSV, right? Yeah, here we go. No, that's not it. That can't be
Without
it.
Googling, yeah, that is yes.
Is this it? This isn't it. That looks like Roy Scheider.
Yeah, right? It had a weird acronym.
It is Roy Scheider, Captain Nathan Bridger.
And here's why I thought about him is because we got spoiler alert for people. We got Punisher in our lineup to talk about today.
Oh yeah.
I was thinking about the Thomas Jane Punisher because he was the dad, right?
Yeah, he was the dad.
Yeah.
He also
yeah,
he's also gonna need a bigger boat.
Ted
Raimi was in there too. Holy crap! Oh.
Wow. Do you have a question?
Oh, and Frank Welker. Holy crap! Frank Welker is gonna be in. Man. What is he gonna be? He's gonna be in something soon.
Frank Welker. He's the voice actor.
Yeah.
He does all the animals. So yes, he's in everything.
He's gonna be in something else soon. I know there's something he's got coming up, right?
I think there was actually a show that credited him one time for some dog noises.
He plays the voice of Odin in the Guardians of the Galaxy cartoons. That's awesome. All right,
but boys, I think there was a cartoon one time that they credited Frank Welker for acting in the show as a dog or something, and then after the show they were like, "Oh, wait a second, we actually went out and got the dog sound effect ourselves. That wasn't him."
Listen, Jay. I know who you are. I remember who you are, and I'm gonna tell you. I have never seen Punisher Warzone for one single fact, and my military career destroyed it. Alright? Do you remember when Ray Stevenson jams his M16 through the wall and pulls the trigger on his grenade launcher? He puts out that 40mm round, and I know for a fact, from my knowledge, that those things have to spin so many times before they arm. They don't just blow up in a wall on the other side of the room.
Kind of like a safety feature.
It has a safety feature to it. So when he did that, I was like, I'm not
obviously
watching this.
The Punisher modified his.
No, come on. He's a conventional warfare person. He's not Mr. Science.
There is. I will pull a comic that I've got where he uses the Goblin Glider and he uses Doc Ock's arms along with other type of weaponry from superheroes. So don't put me that he's a Martin. No, he's not always been like that.
Tell me he's beating Doc Ock with his own arms.
No. I don't think they ever say how he got it.
Oh. That's got to be the way they do it, man. That
would be the best way to do it. You just see him like he had ripped the. Obviously, he couldn't because the arms are made of like titanium or sometimes adamantium.
Right.
But Doc Ock actually beat the Hulk one time with those adamantium arms. He defeated the Hulk with them. But just sitting here watching him be bloody, holding the arms and they're bloody too, and Doc Ock's just like a pool of fat and blood at his feet, and Spider-Man's like, dude, that's not how we play.
Yeah. No, I know. I ruined it for myself, and that's the worst part. Ray Stevenson's a fine actor. He did great as, who was he? Blackbeard in Black Sails. That show, I still need to finish the last season of that. I never watched the original Spider-Man. Oh, you mean the movie? Yeah. Bonesaw! Bonesaw! All right.
Bonesaw is ready. But see, he wasn't Macho Man there. He's Bonesaw.
Right.
See?
Right.
That's why Spider-Man could beat him, and obviously Mankind could probably beat. I think that Hell in a Cell, Mankind and the Undertaker, no match will ever top that.
What about Al Snow? Oh wait. All right. Let's go ahead and move into the first article here because this one's kind of interesting.
Yeah, these next couple are interesting.
All right, so there are two kinds of people in the world. People that accept their fate and what they've done, and then there are others that just blame everybody else for their problems.
This is actually interesting because a lot of people have this theory. If I remember my English classes correctly, it was like the Hamlet theory. to go into it a little bit, it's when the king is all well and happy, the land is all well and happy. When the king is ill or not the rightful king, then the land itself decays. Think of Lion King. Remember when Mufasa was around, everything was green and perfect. When Scar took over, everything went black and desolate, and there was no food anywhere. That's what I'm talking about.
Well, but
this is what this spills into. Go ahead. Say what you were saying.
But that's not their fault that comics aren't popular anymore.
They
can't make. Listen.
Okay,
sir.
First, let's get to this. Then we'll get to the argument part.
Sir, I can't make your officers answer their frickin' Blackberries. All right. Yes, but at the same time, it's not their fault. Print is dead. Print is dead. All right. Egon said it. Okay. Egon said it best.
Egon said it like 40 years ago.
I know, 30 years ago.
Okay. IDW blames market leaders, i.e. Marvel, for revenue drop in financial report. IDW released its quarterly financial report for the 3 months ending on July 31st, showing a big drop in revenue and profits. Net income was down over 91% from the previous year. IDW reported its decreased overall income. Income from operations decreased by $2,321,000 for the 3 months ended July 31st, 2017, compared to the 3 months ended July 31st, 2016, due to several factors. Decreases in operating income from IDW, IDW Entertainment, and CTM in the amounts of $1,467,000, $187,000, and $667,000, respectively, due to lower gross profits in all three segments, totaling $1,185,000. Blah blah blah. I mean, you guys don't care about these numbers. I mean, there's a lot of numbers we're throwing out. So, What caused the drop? They explained publishing revenue decreased by $751,000, principally due to industry cyclical downward pressure driven by market leaders, as well as the timing of significant major brand titles that are expected in the fourth quarter of fiscal 2017. Basically, what they're saying is that Marvel, who is the top dog right now, or they're teetering there, it's usually like Marvel and DC, and then everybody else. It's like Marvel and DC, like right here, right there. Like I can't show how close it is, and then everybody else is down here. It's like, remember in the 90s, if you're a video gamer, Nintendo was right here, like overall. Then Sega was like right here, and everybody else was down here.
Yeah.
Down here. That's exactly how it is with comics. And if your top dogs are not doing well, because they are the eyes, you could go on the street and ask 15 people, be like, okay, name me some comic books that Marvel Comics puts out. You're going to get Spider-Man, Captain America, Wolverine, Iron Man, and Batman.
Wolverine. Wait, Batman?
Wolverine. Yeah, you're going to get Batman because that's how people are.
DC is TurboGrafx to Marvel's Nintendo. Perfect. That is perfect.
Well, I won't go into that. But what I'm saying is that
what about the Jaguar?
People know this. If you say IDW, what does IDW print? Come on, Jeremy.
They do the Star Trek series, don't they?
They've done it.
See, I was right.
I don't know if they're currently doing it, but they've done it before.
Weren't they responsible for the Star Trek and Green Lantern crossover garbage?
That would actually be a cool crossover, which I know they've done it.
I thought they did it before.
Yeah, they've actually, they didn't, but
I bet you they've done.
Okay, so you're looking at IDW is like Ghostbusters, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and stuff like that.
Transformers, G.I. Joe, My Little Pony, Winona Earp. That's a new one, right?
Which is a show.
Samurai Jack.
So there you go.
The new DuckTales? They do the new DuckTales? They have the new art for DuckTales on here.
So anyway,
sorry.
So that's what I mean, but that's what's going to happen is when your major brands, the people that go to the comic book shops, when they're pushing people away. Because what happens is, this is what happens. People go to the comic book shop, right? You're picking up your Spider-Mans, you're picking up your Wolverines, you're picking up your X-Men.
Those are the ones that
published anymore.
Those are the ones that
you're picking up your Avengers, and then you got your kid there. Hey, I want a comic book, and you're like, oh well.
There you go.
Can't have this one.
Here, have this one. It's
$2.
One.
Hey, here's a Ghostbuster one, which, don't get me wrong, the Ghostbuster one was pretty good.
Right.
Just even when they cross over with the 2016 Ghostbusters, it was okay. But that's what happened a lot of times. Now, I do go there, and I will pick up the Ninja Turtles. I do pick up the Ghostbuster ones. But not everybody does that. No, and other factors, like you said, digital is... But the thing is, they still get digital sales. This is sales overall as well.
Yeah.
So this is also including your digital sales. They're saying selling is down, period. And the reason is because people like Marvel, which is the top name right now, they might not be the top quality. DC's beating them in that. But they are the top name. They have all these movies come out, these beloved movies, whether you think they're good, well made or not, they're very popular. And everybody recognizes them. They are pushing away the established fans. The established fans are the ones that bring other fans in. It's like me and Jeremy, if we actually hung out and liked each other, I would say, Jeremy, come with me to the comic book shop. Or I'd be in the car. I'd be, we're going to swing in here real quick. I'd go grab like $50 worth. Then Jeremy would be like, hey, this looks neat. What can you tell me about this? I'm like, oh, dude, that comic is so great. I will absolutely tell you, I've done that before with several friends that weren't into comic books.
Atomic Robo. That's one I want to read.
Atomic Robo. Oh my God! If you haven't read Atomic Robo, you are missing out.
And then I want to. Then I want to play the tabletop.
Which I've got. Didn't they let you borrow it? Don't you still have it?
You didn't let me borrow it.
I have it. I didn't let you keep it. Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. I'll mail it to you. Which it's actually the Fate Core system, by the way.
Yeah. I've never heard of Southern Bastards.
I have not. Unfortunately. I've got. Dude, I'm playing catch up with so many. Like. I'm trying to, because I have this bad habit of buying books as well, comic books, and then focusing on one, not the other. So right now I'm in like the cycle where I read actual books, like novels.
Oh, hold on.
They're still comic books, huh?
I'm forming an opinion in my head about this already, and I'm sorry, Jace. I'm not gonna read it. I'm gonna be honest with you. The only movie that I have ever walked out of, and with my dad, by the way, Jace, is Friday Night Lights, because that movie was trash. Walked out of a theater for that, though. I just...
Like the show?
The movie.
No, but I'm asking if you like the show.
I never watched the show. If I walked out of the movie, what makes me want to go after the title? It's like...
I didn't know if somebody may have, like... Like, if you had watched the show... And then you I think the movie was first, then the show. I didn't know if like your wife or somebody said, "Hey, this show's actually good," but in hindsight, I don't think your wife would go after that.
So here's the problem with that, Jason, and this is the big problem with it. It's the fact that they sold it with every single trailer that it was a football movie, and I wanted to see a football movie. Listen, I understand what Any Given Sunday's about, and Any Given Sunday has way more football in it than Friday Night Lights did, for sure. I wanted to see the
Last Boy Scout.
Oh my God, The Last Boy Scout. But that wasn't a football movie. The trailer, the only thing in that trailer, and I remember that trailer vividly. The only thing they showed in that trailer was the very beginning of the movie, anyways.
Well, you know that's not the first time that they've lied about a movie. Look at Mother that just came out. They were trying to sell that as a genuine horror film as opposed to this thick-headed biblical allegory.
No, Jason.
On butt to actually be scary.
Oh, this comic, Southern Bastards, is? Because, yeah. I mean, the tagline that I got from it was, it's an ongoing... it's a series that revolves around the culture of a small American town where football is everything. And once again, they're doing what Friday Night Lights did to me. They're selling it on the football... But there's actually something else going on, and they're not bringing that up front. If they were honest with me and said that, yeah, some dude's going around beating people with a freaking 2x4 or a 4x4 in the Rock's case, then that would be something that I'd be interested in.
Basically what he's saying is don't lie to him.
Yeah, don't lie to me.
Tell him up front that this is like a high school drama with some football stuff, then he might say, okay, I'm going to watch a high school drama with some football stuff. Don't say it's 90% football or 95% Rock beating people in the head with a 2x4 or a 4x4, and then it's a love story, and he just happened to, at a construction site, accidentally swung around and beat somebody in the head with a 4x4.
She was pretty hot, though. The firefighter outfit was great. We just covered this with Star Trek. Star Trek lied to me. They said this is Star Trek, and then they sold me a cheap 2-bit movie version of Star Trek, and not even science.
Concur with him on this.
And not what? Wait,
sorry.
what? You agree with me?
Well, yeah, I can. Listen, I don't want a movie to lie to me. If you tell me that this is a football movie, then I want it to be a football. If we saw the Predator trailers today, and then it was 90% them going through the paperwork that he found, and that one, he's like, yeah, so these numbers don't match up with these numbers, and he's like, we need an accountant.
I'm gonna use this.
Jan from accounting, she needs to come in there, and then all of a sudden an alien shows up in the last 5 minutes, and he's actually the intern. No, you just lied to your audience.
All right,
and you're doing it on purpose.
I'm gonna take a sucker punch, but I'm gonna push this. JoJo is not the best anime ever.
You just want to fight. It's not the best anime ever. It's the best anime and manga ever. Thank you. Now, hey, since we're on comics and we're on football, you want a good football comic?
Archie.
I Shield 21.
What?
I Shield 21. It's about this high school student.
No, you kept breaking up. What'd you say?
No, I'm sorry. I Shield 21.
Nope. Say it again.
I Shield 21.
Ice Shield 21.
Ice Shield.
Oh, Ice Shield 21. Okay.
Yeah. So what it's about is this little kid. He's been like bullied all of his life, so he can run really fast, and so he's got like a 4.240.
Nice.
And the high school quarterback finds him, and he's like, "Okay, this kid's joining the team," and the kid learns to build his confidence up. But the interesting thing is that if you're not a football fan, but you know, and the story gets you into it a little bit, it actually breaks down like in really simple terms. Like I would use this comic. Seriously, I would use this comic to teach a child. You know, for the most part, like this is how football is played, because they show, okay, well, this is what a sweep does. This is what you look like, the guard and the tackle, and these are what you need to consider them, your shields. This is how you carry the football. Like it actually breaks this stuff down. Like, okay, you catch like this and you catch like this, and it does it in a way that it's really good. I'm absolutely serious. That's a very good comic too.
Forrest Gump, but more football heavy. That might be discounting the kid a little bit, Jace.
The kid is smarter than that. I mean, he did get into high school, which, because it's a manga, he has to actually pass the test to get into high school.
All right, let's go ahead and bring this back in here. Let's go ahead and do the next one here.
Okay. Yes, and that's that. Here's the thing: we try to stay into like politics, and this kind of delves into politics some, but at the same time, this is something that people need to talk about. So last week was Baltimore Comic Con, and Mr. Mark Waid said prior to the Comic Con, he's like, if you see this guy, the critic from the channel Diversity in Comics, you come find me, even if I'm a panel or whatever, because I want to see him. And he worded it in a way that it was extremely confrontational.
Wow.
Like
I want to meet him out back and take care of him. Jeez.
I'm going to take him back behind the shed, basically. So then he sensed them because he got some backlash from it, and then I guess he kind of found out that this guy was a former Marine. And even though if a Marine's like Jeremy, he's still a former Marine, okay?
Yeah.
So so he kind of backpedaled a little bit, and
coward.
And then some other comic book creators have stepped up and start pushing back against the critics. Now, these aren't just critics saying, hey, this comic is just stupid and you're a terrible writer and you need to just hang yourself. These guys are saying, you're not actually constructing a comic here. There's no real plot advancement. These people are just doing things.
Oh, no.
It's, where is the story structure? These characters are acting like psychopaths, but then you have all the secondary characters praising them. And it's not like considering them psychopaths based on our real world events. It's like they're considered they should be considered psychopaths within the comic itself. It's like if in the 90s there was a comic where, I think it was the 90s, maybe 80s, probably 80s, where Iron Man got drunk and was attacking people at random and tried to lift a tanker truck full of fuel over his head. And this is back when his armor wasn't the quality it is today, where he could do that, and nearly caused a citywide destruction. He was treated like a psychopath there. You know, he was treated like, this is very harmful behavior. If he did this, if these characters had done something like that now, they'd be praised. Oh, she's so beautiful and smart and strong and so confident. Oh, he's just being a crazy, wacky kid. That kind of stuff. These are not good comics.
Right, right.
And not only is these comics, like, there's no editing done. There's constant typos. I've pointed out at least 2 or 3 on my personal Facebook page. I flipped through some of my comics. I was like, these are all spelled wrong, and these are basic words. I could understand that. Again, 70s, 80s, 90s, words being misspelled because you had to flip through a dictionary to read them,
right,
or whatever. But you got Google. You don't even have to be that close. As long as you don't, if you're spelling spectacular and you have a 4 in there, it might get a little confused. But as long as you're using basic English,
yeah.
And here's the other thing. There's one comic out there right now, called American Chavez. It's about an alien from another dimension that comes to Earth, looks at all the people on Earth, and is like, oh, I kind of look like the Latino people, so I'm going to act Latino. First of all, nobody's ever pointed it out to her, like, you're not even human. Why are you acting like these people? And second of all, she's written by an actual Latino person, Latina, I think it is, and all of her Spanish is wrong.
Oh, what?
Like, how can you not do? I don't understand. Just because you're that race, you don't need to speak the language, you know. But at the same time, if you're going to write the character to speaking this authentically, and she's messing it up. Now, I would understand if she would mess up a saying like, "Oh, vamano, I sell vamanos now," and somebody goes, "Oh, that's va." Or whatever. I don't speak.
Right. No, you're saying if the character did it and not the rest of the people, but everybody's speech is messed up.
Right. Everybody's speech is messed up.
It would be it would be more acceptable for the character who's not familiar with the language to mess it up commonly.
Like you know, they do it a lot of times with these with elegant foreign characters where they go, you have been put how do you say through the washer, through the drying apparatus. You know, they say they do that kind of stuff, and somebody goes, through the ringer? Yes, that is the term.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like that kind of scenario. It's like she's messing up these basic sayings, and nobody's correcting her. Nobody's pointing it out. You know, we have Dan Slott. I've seen some articles and some videos before where he's actually gone and admitted that he will take people's screen names on forums, pretend that they are them, and ruin their reputation. To the point where the guy gets the main person gets banned, and his wife has to make a screen name and plead to Dan Slott, please, can you tell people that you did this because you're ruining his hobby, you know?
Yeah.
He's also, somebody read a Wikipedia, and I've said this before on the show, somebody's read a Wikipedia article that said, Superior Spider-Man does not sound like a good comic. And he sent his fans after that person.
Wow.
Based off them just reading the wiki article.
So, is he the one that draws feet bad?
No, that's, you're thinking of Rob Liefeld, who draws everything bad.
And pouches.
Yeah. Those pouches. Now, to be fair, I think pouches are cool, too. But I put it on you. So what about Mr. Diversity in comics? Well, to be fair, I've listened to some of his, watched some of his videos. He calls himself a comedian. I don't find him that funny, but he brings up good points in his videos all the time. And again, this is teetering the line, but this isn't a, you know, oh well, he's just being racist and sexist. To me, it sounds like he's asking you to just write better. Like, take the character America and just make her more interesting. Take the character Riri Williams and just make her more interesting.
Right.
Don't just write this character, make them perfect, even though their actions are clearly not perfect, and have nobody call them out on it. That's not an interesting character. You know, you have to give people flaws. That's the only way that they, you know, that's how we identify with them sometimes, is their flaws, you know?
Right.
That's why Superman's constantly struggling to have again, we've covered this 1,000 times before. Superman's written in a way where it's better to see how people react around him than just him directly. seeing him save somebody from killing themselves and seeing their reaction to Superman, this basically omnipotent person, take 5 seconds out of their busy life stopping earthquakes and throwing Thanos into the sun to say, hey, you matter. You are important to me.
Right, right.
I'm telling you, one of the best comics where somebody was about to jump off a building, and he flew there, and they told him not to stop, that they were going to jump regardless, and he was like, I'm not going to stop you, but I'm going to spend time with you. And he stayed there all night long for that person until they felt like they wanted to come down and just talk to him. And like they were shining like spotlights, and he's like, and it was a girl, and she was like, can you get them to stop doing that? And he looks over, just heat visions them, severs the cables. Have I ever thought about a diet? I don't know what that is. But no, because then I can't role play as a dwarf when we're doing our LARPing.
Right.
But anyways, so that's pretty much it. And also, love him or hate him, if you disagree with what this guy's saying and all the other online critics, that's fine. Tell them that you don't like them.
I wish we had we
saw them.
Yeah. Without I wish I knew what number episode it was, but we did talk about what they did with Death Note, and we're of the crowd of we're not going to watch it because of what they did.
Here's the thing with Death Note, and this is why I don't like these race and sex changes, because when they're keeping the same character. Now, Death Note could have easily been like a sequel, or like, what if he had dropped it in America type of thing? But they pull the exact same characters. Now, if they just took the world of Death Note and said, okay, this takes place after Light or before Light.
Right.
And and Ryuk or one of the others had dropped a Death Note in Seattle.
Right, right.
That would have been an interesting premise, because then you're like, well, okay, well, how would American cops react to something like this? We saw how like Japanese cops reacted, and even though they pulled in some, I'm going to say Scotland Yard types. I don't know exactly. I guess L was more independent, so an independent investigator, But how would that's a brilliant premise. That's kind of patting myself on the back, but that's an interesting premise to me. But you're saying, okay, I'm taking I'm taking Light, and I'm throwing him in America. Let's see what happens. But he's still American, or he's still everything else is the same. But now we're going to make him a depressed emo teenager instead of this beloved prodigy, that kind of thing.
Right.
Once you start changing the character's race, then you're going to change other stuff. Well, okay, we don't like this part of the original's personality. Let's change it to this. Okay, well, we don't like this action, so let's change it to this. And then soon it snowballs into you lose the point of the story.
See also Ghost in the Shell.
See Ghost in the Shell. See Kick-Ass, which was fairly loyal, and then they changed character motivations for several of the characters and missed the point of the story. And at the end of the day, that's what's important, is you have to be true to what the story was. And the problem is that overall simple concept, be true to this, means you have to be true to this character, you have to be true to this character. And there's basic things you can change in there, obviously, but soon you just spiral and you miss the point. And then you're like, what's the point of what was the point of all this? You know what I'm saying?
Right, right. All right, well, let's go ahead and push on into the movies and TV, unless you got some more about Mark Waid.
That's just unprofessional. Listen, I'm in a critics group right now, where people are judging some of my short stories, and this is how delicate I am. Somebody was like, okay, I think you need to use was here, and I was like, I just need to delete this whole thing. This is going forever. So I understand, you're putting a lot of work into this, and somebody comes along and is like, well, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. I understand that. But you also been doing this for 20 years, or 10 years, or 15 years. You get paid to do this.
Right.
And there's people out there that absolutely love your work and just want to see you do better,
Right.
And then, because I'm sitting there, I'm reading, the slight changes. They're like, this doesn't sound like what the character would say. And you're right. That kind of doesn't sound like what the character would say. And then at the end, you're saying, okay, well, you got a few things to fix, but I absolutely love the story. The characters are fun, and this is great. And that's what people are trying to do. They don't want to bring you down, Mr. Slott. They don't want to bring you down, Mr. Wade, Mr. Miller. There's beloved stories you guys have written. and we want to see you back at those spots, and you're not doing it.
Yeah.
And now you see IDW suffering. And DC's probably suffering a little bit. And everybody else is going to suffer. Dark Horse is going to suffer.
Yes, that's right. IDW is suffering because Mark Waid can't write good.
Well, again, this is... Okay, well, you have one or two main writers. Well, okay, a better analogy. One bad apple spoils the bunch.
Yeah.
Let's say Mark Waid alone is the black vortex, or Dan Slott's the black vortex that's sucking everything that's good about Marvel out of itself. Okay, well, guess what? Marvel itself is still being corrupted. Then all the goodness out of Marvel is sucked out. Well, guess what? Now DC's getting affected because Mark Waid's going to jump ship before Marvel crashes, and he's going to jump over to DC. Now DC's sucking. Okay, well, boom. Now Dark Horse. Boom. Now IDW. Now boom. Comics. All those. You see.
Yeah.
You see where I'm going to?
Yeah. No, I get it. I get it.
You see the hand motion?
Yeah, I got it. You're going in circles. Got it.
Oh, well, that, and I was referencing It's Always Sunny.
You're chasing tails. Pepe Sylvia. Got it.
Sylvia.
Yeah, there you go. All right, let's go ahead and move into the movies. And TV. Because this is kind of more about...
I was going to say it if you didn't.
Oh, so. I didn't pull the picture for... Never mind. Oh, well. That's fine.
We're canceling the show, bye.
Well, that's the one I didn't pull, was the cancellation one. The Punisher trailer aired. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. Except Mitch has complaints, as always, because that's all that we get out of him. He's never happy.
Criticism.
He can't enjoy things for what they are. They all have to be JoJo memes.
I do other memes. I do Dragon Ball Z memes too.
Yeah, those two. Did you see the one I just sent you?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, it was Naruto, right? Anyways, so the trailer looks great. John Bernthal looks, Punisher as ever, as you can see from this picture. I'm excited to see where they're gonna go with it. There was a couple of good actors that showed up in there, and I was reading through a couple of reviews, and they said that the only connecting tissue to the Defenders that will ever exist is Karen Page. And I know you don't like her that much.
Here's the thing. It's not that I don't like her. Well, I don't really.
You just don't like her.
But I just know where she ends up, and I'm just waiting for that to happen, and I'm going to enjoy it so much.
Great.
It's so awful because I know where she ends up.
So, I'm trying to remember. Did they show anything Kingpin in this? I can't remember.
Yeah, I was looking, and I don't think I saw it, but I also wouldn't want them to reveal him just yet either. Because I was thinking about it. I was like, as I was watching, I was like, oh, is Daredevil going to show up? And then I was like, no, it would be stupid for your first trailer to show Daredevil and all these other characters, obviously aside from Karen Page, because I guess she's the new night nurse that ties everybody together. Well, but let me tell you, this trailer was great. Now go ahead and say what you were going to say.
I was kind of looking for both Fisk and Vanessa as well, because after knowing more about Fisk, or Kingpin, for those of you that don't know what his name is, I kind of wanted to. I want to see her develop too, and I don't know that they will. I feel like they were hinting at the fact that they would eventually with her in the first season, but I mean, she's responsible for a lot of other bad things too, and I don't know if they want to get into it or if she's ever gonna, if it's ever gonna be a thing. That's all I was hoping. That's the reason why I was hoping that she showed up, or that Kingpin showed up. That way we could see some more. But I don't know if they want to develop, and I kind of wonder if eventually they'll cover, like you said, cover him in the Punisher instead of just in Daredevil, because obviously he's not going to be in Spider-Man. But yeah, so for those of you that don't know, Vanessa Fisk, the wife of Wilson Fisk, Kingpin, and she gets into some dastardly crime as well, and even to the point where she develops her own little group of taskers.
She does a couple of things. I'm not going to. It would be because she's tied in like to all these other characters too, like the Rose and all that other stuff. So I'm not going to like break that whole thing down. But yeah, she does like, usually they're like, oh well, he just needs a good woman to redeem her, and no, she's like, you're a bad guy. I want to be a bad guy. So to speak. I mean, it's obviously more complicated than that. They suspect that it's going to be soon, though, like November, end of October-ish, I think.
Well, that's the thing. Whatever releases in the fall is usually like in like the early November, first couple of weeks. That was a real dick move that they did by redacting the date. It just said 2017. It's like God, but it was classy and fit the character, which was nice.
So the Punisher trailer was really good.
And we were talking before the show, and he was laughing because he hadn't watched it until just before the show.
Well, to be fair, that meant it was fresh in my head, so I can talk about it more.
I guess, but they've continued to do what they've done throughout all the series. They've been able to strike this perfect balance of not too overbearing comedy, but not too underpresent. It's there, and it's where it needs to be when it needs to be, and that's it. They take themselves very seriously for this show for the most part, and especially with it being the Punisher, that's more welcome than ever before.
Let's put it this way: think back through your life. How many days did you go where everything was a down note? You probably at least chuckled once during your day. Your day is built up of highs and lows. For a show to just be the low points means that it's bleak and it's dreary and nobody wants that. I mean, well, there's some people that want that. You have to have high notes and low notes, and not only your storytelling, but your characters. So for the Punisher the Punisher does smile once in a while. It's very rare. But, yes, there was actually a really clever line, and I don't really want to spoil it because I can't do it justice, in the end of the trailer, and it was great. My one criticism, out of everything, was that they used a Metallica song, which perfectly fit, but I felt was slightly overused and kind of cliche. Oh, that was it.
Yeah, it was good, though. It was fitting. But yeah, like you said, a little cliche. Hit it right on the nose. Hopefully that's the only thing they jumped the shark on, right?
Out of everything, if that's the worst thing you can say, is, well, the trailer used one song that's been overused.
And we already know
that's pretty good.
We already know that he's going to be good. I mean, it was like Daredevil Season 2, The Punisher. You got him all throughout, so there was so much character development.
It's not that we think it's going to be bad or, they used a Metallica song, this worst season ever. It's just that I really don't know. I'm interested in seeing it. I wonder if we're going to see some of his. The Punisher does not have a very big rogues gallery because he kills all of his rogues. He's only got 2 or 3 that show up. One of them's Jigsaw. And the other one is Bushwhacker?
Yeah.
Who is a sometimes mutant, sometimes bioweapon.
Probably.
I don't think they've ever clarified, but what he does is he can turn his arms into different types of weaponry, like shotguns or whatever, but he has to eat the ammo.
Well, that ought to be fun to watch.
So that will be interesting how they put that in a realistic setting if they bother to use him. And Jigsaw is kind of like a serial killer. I guess it really just depends on who's writing him. Sometimes he's like he's like the Bullseye to Daredevil, or the Joker to Batman.
Right.
He only focuses on that one villain or that one hero. Although Bullseye's fought several others, of course.
Well, Comics Alliance was able to put together top 10 Punisher villains. Let's see. Is this?
He doesn't have many. Top 10. It might be the only 10.
What?
Unless
no, that's not a good. That's not a good article to look at. 15
didn't
villains. Here's an article: 15 villains who need to die in the Punisher TV show.
Russian?
Jigsaw, Bullseye, the Russian, Manucci, Elite.
Okay, I'm talking about like super villains type of villains, not
but
just criminal lords. Even the Kingpin can sometimes hang with superpowered heroes like Spider-Man, unless Spider-Man's properly motivated, like we saw in Back in Black.
What about Mr. Payback?
Mr. Payback? I'm actually not aware of that one. Is he like Mr. Fish?
He looks like he's wearing the leftovers and cut eye holes in Daredevil's little rag over his head. Hitman, Silvermane, Hammerhead, Tombstone, Batrock.
Yeah, Batrock the Leaper. Actually, Captain America Civil War, the guy that fought Captain America at the beginning.
The Winter Soldier.
So first of all, no, Batrock should not die. He is awesome, okay? Second of all, Hammerhead, I wonder how they would be able to do him, because he's supposed to have, like, is it adamantium or titanium? I think it's an adamantium head. But no, he shouldn't die either. I don't want him to die. Tombstone, well, if anybody could kill him, it'd probably be Punisher, but he's got, like, impenetrable skin, kind of, or he's supposed to be just really, really strong.
Lonnie Lincoln.
Silvermane actually would be a good villain to see be killed, actually. He's not superpowered. He's like just an old mob boss.
Jackal, Oliver, and then finally the Kingpin.
So what?
I don't think
Condiment King, thank you. You're going to address him by his proper royal title. Condiment King, there was Ten-Eyed Man, there was Kite Man for Batman. There was...
who's the condiment? What?
Condiment King. He used ketchup, mustard, and horse relish and all that kind of stuff to fight. Yes.
No, but I didn't say that. I said Kingpin was the last
one. No, in our chat.
Oh, okay. Condiment Man. Yeah, there you go. Olivier was the other guy, not Oliver. I misread. Punisher Purgatory number 4. He looks like a demon bat type thing. That's interesting.
It would be cool. It would be cool to have Tombstone show up as like a petty like crime boss, and he kind of acts like he inadvertently works his way, even though he's smart. And like the Punisher keeps overlooking him or whatever,
right?
And somehow he starts working his way up. That would be kind of neat, I think.
Yeah. So he's got people they could throw at it. They just need to make it worthwhile. You know what I mean?
So if anybody's ever watched the. Yeah, Batman's fought some interesting characters before.
And if you watch Gotham, you can see the bad guys create Batman in the opposite order that it's supposed to happen.
Yeah, Gotham also misses the point of the characters. Spider-Man's fought the Rocket Racer, Big Wheel. He fought this guy called the Grizzly, who looks like he's wearing a bearskin rug. There's the Kangaroo. There is. I think this might have been more of a. This was maybe more of a Human Torch villain, but Paste Pot Pete. That's the best name.
I gotta see.
He used glue. For people that weren't born in the 50s.
I spelled
Paste
Pete.
Pot Pete. He's called the Trapper now.
He looks like Trapster. He looks like a Sentinel. His outfit looks like a Sentinel.
Jeez, who else was it? But no, they should not put Batrock in there. They should not kill him. Yeah, it's weird how many characters are like something man, adjective man, or noun man.
Yeah, but that's what they did back then. They didn't have anything to do with the names. They couldn't think of anything creative, so Stan Lee put man behind it.
Well, he used to just make like before Marvel Comics was the thing. He would make like monsters and stuff, and he'd just say, "What's this one's name?" Garg, and stuff like that. Right. Okay, that's the name. Remember, they had to put like 50s of these out. Yeah, we should do like a D-list comic villains thing. I think there's plenty of those out there. There's a D-list superheroes list, and then plenty of them. So anyways, real quick, it looks great. Supposedly there's rumors that the Punisher battle van is going to be in there, so I wonder if Microchip's going to show up. Microchip was a tech guy that was kind of the Punisher's ally and helped him out a little bit. Building super tech for him, but then they also want to keep it realistic. So maybe he's going to be some kind of weapons manufacturer.
That was the one. That was the one where that was the guy that he said I'm going to have to kill him, and he said, "I'm okay with that." The guy with the glasses. That's him. I'm trying to look for the actor. Yeah, that is definitely him.
Microchip?
Is this right? Is that the right name? Yeah.
I don't know his other character, like his real name in the comics. I just know him by Microchip.
Yeah, I'm trying to look to see if I can find a picture of this guy because they only have a name. But continue. Evan Moss Bachrach. He was in The Last Ship recently, but he was also in an episode of Fringe where he had this power. He was like energized and he could like turn on machines from a little ways away from him.
So it's almost like a casting gag in a way.
Kinda. He's in The Last Ship. He plays a Russian scientist who helped develop the virus that's killing everybody off.
So here's the funny thing: you mentioned the Russian in that
The Last Ship. Yeah.
Well, in that ship, and you mentioned it in that list of comic characters that needs to die. And as we know, he was in the Thomas Jane movie of The Punisher, which was a great fight scene. The Russian in the comics actually ends up getting superpowered boobies.
Oh God. You know, there are some things that we don't need to just dredge up on this show.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying. I put out this comic knowledge, and if you guys want to take it and put it in your minds, there you go. If you want to just throw it to the wayside, just on that point, let's. You want to move on to the next part?
Yeah, he played John Quincy Adams in the John Adams miniseries too. I think it's the HBO one. Yeah. Anyways, all right. Let's go. What's this like? Oh, the next thing. I don't have a picture, so we're just gonna leave the Punisher up. We'll make him more bigger and menacing.
How like depressing is that? It's like we're talking about something negative here, and you're like, it didn't bother you even pulling a picture.
We called it, and right off the bat, the first thing I'm going to throw at you, the Inhumans might be canceled already, and the first thing I'm going to throw at you for evidence is that IMAX thing was supposed to be such a huge deal. They made take it easy, Jace. They made such a huge deal about it. It made $2.8 million in the theaters worldwide, not in just the U.S. Worldwide. It made 1.8 here and 1.3 overseas. It's all because of that dog.
Don't blame Lockjaw on this.
It's all because of the dog. No, I'm not blaming Lockjaw. I'm blaming the animators that did his CGI. They were.
The CGI would have been relatively decent 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And if it just shown up on TV, but to be released in IMAX in 2017.
Well, to be fair, they re-aired it on TV. Here, let me pull that up too.
I really don't.
Okay, continue to read that, and I will pull it up anyway.
Okay. All right. The latest arm of the Marvel Cinematic Universe had a difficult journey to the screen. Originally announced as a film set for November 2018 release, it was removed from the MCU slate after major ructions behind the scenes at Marvel Studios, and eventually shifted to an ABC miniseries. The early character reveals and trailers for the resulting show weren't received well by fans, and the critical and audience reactions to the special IMAX premiere at the start of the month was almost entirely negative. Its box office take, even accounting for per-screen average, was weak. So, they really... What happened to, remember they used to pull, fans in and say, hey, we got this thing. Here's our suggestion. Here's some of the video, the test footage. Here's some of the character designs. What do you guys think? And why aren't people saying this stuff looks like crap?
Yeah.
Again, how do you miss the? First of all, these are hard characters to translate, especially Black Bolt, who does not talk. Although it would be interesting to see them be clever with it. But they immediately take him from this palace intrigue of space aliens, Game of Thrones, and put him in New York City. Why? Leave him up there.
Rotten Tomatoes has it at a 4% right now. And
you know how I feel about Rotten Tomatoes, so
not really excited.
I take it with a grain of salt.
Not really excited about who said this, but Brian Lowry of CNN noted, if the 8th episode of Inhumans fails, it could shine a spotlight on the fact that Marvel has generally lagged behind. Just and only on their public television shows.
Mm-hmm.
Their Netflix shows are, bar none, heads and tails above most of the DC stuff. I haven't seen Legends of Tomorrow, and I hope that they laser focus that show and actually do a good job and skip the love story and making it Felicity and Friends. But I kind of have hopes for that, though I haven't watched it yet. And I heard The Flash is good, but I've heard that The Flash has been taking a tank lately, too.
The Flash has tanked hard. It tanked fast. Let me tell you, unnecessary love stories are what ruin 90% of shows and movies out there. We don't need... If you make your characters likable, we don't need them to have a love interest.
Well, even better. Name your show something like Lois and Clark, and you know that it's not just going to be Superman.
If it's built around, yes, their relationship, that's understandable. But if you're like, okay, we're taking this character, he's a billionaire vigilante, he shoots arrows at people.
Mitch, it goes right back to it. Don't lie to me. Don't tell me that this show is about Superman and then sell me a love story. Don't tell me this is about Arrow and then say, oh, look, hey, Felicity's going to take over and run the show.
And let me tell you, one of the most cliched lines I hear in these superhero love stories, and here's the thing, okay, if you decide to make it into a love story, hire quality writers because it's, so if you have a superpowered character and he's doing technobabble about speed, force, and molecules and vibrations, okay, whatever, that's cool. But then you're trying to have like this, I don't want to say Romeo and Juliet, but you want to have this love story, and you have that same quality of writing, but for these two human characters interacting and talking like not mimes, but like clowns at each other with this ridiculous dialogue, it doesn't mesh.
Right.
When you're doing, again, weird sci-fi babble, superhero antics, that's fine. It's two different types of writing. And when you tell me that, when the girl's dad is like, oh, well, you were in love with my daughter since before you knew what love meant.
Oh, this is another good review. Matt Webb-Midovich of TV Line said, if the pace and ingenuity from the second half of the first episode continues to ramp up, the first two episodes being the movie event, if it continues to ramp up, Inhumans with just 6 more episodes to go, could prove to be a serviceable Marvel event series, though it may not be enough so that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fans will forgive that the series has a delayed return. Which I didn't know that they were having a delayed return, but that's not good either. That means they're going to have a short season, too. Probably a half season. That sucks. Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. needs to be their flagship on TV, even though it's kind of cheesy sometimes, but, man, they need to really
and you know, at least that didn't really focus on too much of a love story.
No,
you know what? For all of its faults, the relationship between those two geniuses, the chick and the dude, was actually really interesting to me.
About that.
And I really enjoyed them. Because guess what? They didn't play them. I mean, they played them like an old married couple but they took out like the love, and they just bashed heads all the time. Right. And that was good to me. I enjoyed that.
That was the awkward sexual tension in the air, not old couple. The other relationships, what's her face, fallen for Ward, and Bobby and what's his face, Hunter. What was it, Mockingbird and
they had Mockingbird and
but they had a relationship before, but they kind of rekindled a little, but it wasn't like front and center the only thing that was going on. It was in spite of what was going on the screen.
Right, they had like other things happening. It wasn't just love story.
I'm kind of
disappointed. There was a little bit of bitterness there too, so I enjoyed that. It was a different type of love story, as opposed to these. Oh, well, this is the only person he's ever been in love with. Well, guess what? That limits your character. So maybe he grew attracted to this one chick, and he's obsessed with her, but then he finds this other one, and he moves away from her. But with him constantly obsessing about that other one, He can't grow as a character over here.
I feel like that. I feel like it should have been their TV show should have went on. So,
Which one?
That one they were supposed to do. I can't remember. I can't remember what it was. It was some kind of like either unit or freelance or something like that. I can't remember what it was called. They were supposed to have a spin-off series. Remember?
With Mockingbird, right? I think it was just Mockingbird, right?
I'll look it up as we go. We'll go to the next thing here.
Right. So Inhumans is probably going to plummet, which is unfortunate because they did have some good actors, but they just decided to not follow the comics. And let's put it this way. Okay, yes, people could, when that's one of the complaints is, well, if you just want the comic adapted a 1-to-1 ratio, why don't you just go back and read the comic? Well, guess what? I will, and you won't make any money. And also, the reason that comic's been beloved for 40 or 50 or 70 years is because it's good. So maybe trying to do a 1-to-1 adaptation of it isn't a bad thing.
Right. Marvel's Most Wanted was what it was.
Oh yeah, okay, that's right.
So.
Okay, let's move away from Inhumans now. We're going to go to Hollywood is adapting another anime. Yay! Hey, guess what? It's already a movie.
Like this year, the beginning of this year.
Yeah, it just got released.
March 13th or something like that of 2017. I was looking it up. I was like, what do you mean they're going to make a movie? They just made a movie about it.
Yep. So Hollywood is adapting anime film Your Name into a live-action movie.
That's what's tattooed on my butt.
I don't know how to respond to that. It's already a movie, people. All they need to do is release it, which Funimation did, into our theaters. Your Name tells the story of a high school student in rural Japan and a high school boy in Tokyo who swap bodies. So it's basically a Freaky Friday switch, but apparently it's got this really big emotional story there, and I really want to see it. I'm usually not into these type of movies, again, because I don't like the Freaky Friday twist all the time. I don't know. But this seems like it's interesting, especially if there are two characters that don't know each other. So It's not necessarily you don't understand my struggle and that kind of crap. It's just like, this may have, I don't know. But you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, no, I got you.
Are you laughing at something else?
Yeah, building a Raspberry Pi and never shutting up about it.
Oh, goodness.
Sorry, I got distracted. All right.
Oh, yeah, okay. What I just played.
Yeah.
Okay, so it received widespread acclaim from critics who praised the film for its animation and emotional impact and was also a major commercial success, becoming the 4th highest grossing film of all time in Japan. The 7th highest grossing traditionally animated film, the highest grossing anime and Japanese film, and the 4th highest grossing non-English film worldwide, with a total gross of more than $355 million. And they want to they're going to take this brilliant, beautiful thing, and they're going to rip the soul out of it and shove it into a flesh pie. And be like, here you go, audiences.
Starring Willem Dafoe and Scarlett Johansson. All right.
And then they're going to completely miss the point with what the story was about. And I am begging people now. I don't care what they say about this film. They need to stop this stuff, and I want to. It's already filmed. It's already a film.
They got to reinvent the wheel again. And it's just been invented.
Okay, it's reinventing the wheel and turning it into a square. That's what they're doing with this stuff. It's like they're not even like taking a good idea and trying to put their own spin on it. They're like, okay, well, let's take here's the idea, but this isn't going to translate to English audiences, even though it obviously did because look at these grosses. This reference, which is the sole point of the film, that's too emotional for these audiences. Oh, well, I know these are high schools, but we need more booby in there. So, all this stuff.
Listen, the best thing that we got out of Square Wheels was the Keystone Coppers, okay? If you don't know who they are, you'll have to Google them, but they're from your fine state now. So... But yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's like doing Star Wars and then 2 years later somebody else decided to redo Star Wars after it had just been released. Or, hey, J.J. Abrams is going to redo Star Wars Episode 7 again. But he's going to call it Episode 9. It's dumb. It's gonna fail, and we'll be glad to talk about it again when we find out that it failed. So.
Yeah, and it's frustrating because I really want to see this film, and it seems like it's beautiful, and I know that I'm pretty sure by the end of it, I'm probably going to end up having to hold my wife because she's sobbing so hard because she does that in these types of films. But it's a beautiful and precious moment, so I'm cool with that. But you know, I don't know, it's just so frustrating to see these original concepts be brought over here. And why don't they just, if they wanted to make money without wasting money, why don't they just add an American voice cast to it?
Do what they
do that for the Studio Ghibli films, and they're great.
I was gonna say, do what they do with everything else that they bring over here. Just make
Porco Rosso, I absolutely adore that film. I love Nausicaa, The Valley of the Wind is still one of the best animated films of all time. Akira, people.
No, come
that
on.
animation holds up to anything today. Yeah, the ending is insane, but put that again when Batman, the animated series, references your animated movie, your anime movie. You know, one of the best Batman films ever made. Then obviously you got a good movie. You know what scene I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. Okay. Speaking of anime, by the way,
actually two different scenes.
Before we switch out to the games, really quick here to get out of here, I forgot to mention, and I forgot to put in the notes, even though I want to see it and it just came out. The Cowboy Bebop's director's Blade Runner anime is out. I need to watch that.
I want to see that too.
It's supposed to be a prequel?
By the way, I think so. I think it's or interquel, I guess, before after the first one, but before the second one.
It's called the interlude.
Kind of in between. Real quick, and I know this is more like a commercial than anything, but Jasco Games. I don't know if you played any of their games, but I just got this notification, the email a little while ago. They're making a Cowboy Bebop board game or tabletop game.
I thought it was something important.
It is important. Tabletop games are very important. They're doing a Reanimator one, and they're doing a Dragon Ball Z one, and a Street Fighter one, and I'm going to have to buy them all, and I don't have any money, and I'm going to starve. Well, man, I'll let the wife starve. I don't need to.
And J&S Avery took off, and he's I know he plays a lot of freaking board games. They have a board game night they do with their friends. So
look at these. Some of these are still in the plastic because I never.
You're terrible. I have Ado in my closet that I haven't opened yet. The one that's based on the dynasties back in the day. But
also there was something else I was going to mention. Oh well, we can save it for the notes next week. So
yeah. Oh shoot! Today's Friday, by the way. We'll cover this right after the break here.
Okay.
I'll make this look like this, and then I gotta turn my tablet back on here because it doesn't want to stay awake. Here we go. Perfect. All right. Hey, the NES, the Super NES Classic's available today.
Yeah, I was going to put that in notes, but then I was like, I don't want to talk about this because I'm going to be angry and bitter and frustrated because I'm sure they're all sold out.
We'll just cover. Oh well, they're supposed to be continuing to make them, so they're supposed to be more available than ever before. So be angry at Nintendo for other things. Go ahead.
Oh, don't worry, I'm going to. But no, I really want to get this. Oh, check this out. Speaking of this, the SNES Classic, somebody decided to go and review all these games based off modern gaming styles.
What?
I don't know if it was a joke or not, but they rated it like a 5 out of 10. Star Fox 2.
What?
They're like, yeah, the graphics really hinder it, and it gives off this total radical 90s vibe.
Like, it's a 90s game. Oh my god.
This is why you can't. Oh, and Savory left, so we'll discuss Cuphead real quick. No, I haven't gotten it, but it's obviously Dark Souls meets Mario meets Mega Man, because we have these veteran game reviewers that can't even beat the tutorial. I hope you've watched the previous episode a couple weeks ago where the guy couldn't beat the tutorial.
Yeah, Jason, when you're listening to this, go back to last week's and listen to us talk about the guy that was doing or not last week, the last episode, 112, talking about the Cuphead tutorial that the guy couldn't beat. Yeah,
I absolutely do want that game, and I think it'll be fun. And I think that
just buy it and stream it tomorrow morning. Perfect.
I don't have money. I'm poor. Somebody buy it for me.
I wonder Are you ready? I wonder if there's a way that someone could support us so we could get it.
If
all right.
only.
All right. All right. So anyway, what did you read?
Speaking of, we haven't read anything.
Oh my God! Last night, Nintendo sent out an email to participants of its YouTube monetization program, Nintendo Creators. The email outlined Nintendo's new policy on the live streaming of their games on YouTube, banning it for monetization. Damn it. And perhaps banning it outright. Nintendo Creators Program was created as a response to Nintendo demonetizing all videos for Nintendo-published games on YouTube. The program enrolls YouTubers to share their ad revenue with Nintendo, providing that they comply with Nintendo's content guidelines, which demands restrictions on profanity, among other things. Oh, that was all that's in that list. Great. I started counting and there wasn't anything else to count. This is not just for the Let's Plays of Nintendo games, but also things like footage used in video reviews or analysis. By and large, it's not a popular program.
No, it's not.
The new policy reads like this. Live streaming on YouTube falls outside of the scope of Nintendo Creators Program. This means that you cannot broadcast content on YouTube live from the account you have registered to the Nintendo Creators Program. Wow, that sucks. Nintendo advised that channels registered with the program and want to stream Nintendo games should either make a new account that isn't part of the program or leave the program as a channel and individually re-register every video for manual review before they can monetize again. The wording also seems to indicate that live streaming Nintendo games as a whole, monetized or not, is subject to action from Nintendo. So it doesn't really matter. Even if you do go create another account to do so, they're still probably going to strike you.
Yeah.
Which is great. Listen, hey, how do you cut down all word of mouth of your games? Oh yeah, you just tell people they can't do anything with it on YouTube.
How do you alienate all your fans that grew up with your games? How do you prevent people from, knowing that your games exist? Well, nobody watches TV anymore, and you hardly do commercials.
You don't go to cons anymore. You
don't go to cons. Video. Your live stream tree thing, your treehouse, happens once every 3 months. This is not how you operate in this day and age.
Yeah. For sure.
This day and age, you do stuff like Sega, or even Capcom, where you either you don't care, or you actually hire fans to make games for you, and it ends up being the most popular game that you've made in a decade. Sega.
I have a confession to make.
What's that?
I actually saw a Nintendo Switch in action, and I'm pretty amazed at what kind of graphics it can put out.
Yeah, no, I mean, I want one, but with them doing stuff like this, it makes it really hard for me to support them.
Everything that makes me feel like they're coming into the 21st and a half century with good old Buck Rogers.
Or Duck Dodgers?
Duck Dodgers.
Or was he the 23rd? He was 23rd.
23rd and a half. Anyways, everything that makes me think Nintendo's coming out of the 18th century, it gets put back in the corner again, and I feel like we're going backwards, not forwards with them. They're doing everything in their power to prevent people from knowing about their products more. And sure, they're losing people that may just watch Let's Plays and never actually buy the game, but every company experiences that. All the other companies are at a high right now, and where Marvel and DC are like right here, and IDW's down here, Nintendo's not way down here. Nintendo's still up here. Not right here, but they're close.
Now, I want to reiterate, when I say down here, I don't mean in terms of quality. I mean in terms of like their name brand.
And their branding, yeah. IDW is a known quantity. It's just people don't really pay attention to it because they handle a lot of movie products.
Right.
For their
now, with Nintendo, name brand wise, they're still probably at the top of the game because everybody knows Mario.
Everybody knows.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but they keep declining. They're even Capcom, who more or less refuses to make games besides Street Fighter, they still support their fans in kind of ways. I mean, they still try to squeeze every penny out. I mean, as in you have the Megas, for example, or the Proto Men. these people that make these alternate interpretations and make money by basing their music off the characters of Capcom, they support that. Like, even when Capcom was going to release Mega Man Universe, if you remember that, they had a song from the Megas playing in their official trailer. That's supporting your fan base. Yeah. Because guess what? The Megas probably have fans that have never played a Mega Man game. But now you're seeing the two merge together. Like, oh, absolutely need to play this. Mega Man's actually got me back into Mega Man.
But I
went back and bought all the virtual console games.
But I'm getting Monster Hunter World next year.
Okay. To be fair, so right now they're publishing Street Fighter games and Monster Hunter.
Well, you know how good they are with Monster Hunter, though. You owned one. All of their updates and their add-ons and their extra outfits, like the Link costume and all that.
It's for the fans, free. Right? Yes.
It was all free.
And it's usually free, right? Or it's always free.
They're always free. They don't have any paid add-ons.
Right. So that's the right answer. Even if it's just skins, release the skins for free. Yes, I understand if you want a new character in there, you might want somebody to pay $1 or something. That's cool. But if it's a skin, especially a console exclusive skin, just release it for free.
Yeah.
What's the point? What's the point of? It's a recolor.
They had the Palico costumes for Monster Hunter. You could get the Link one. You could get a Mega Man one.
They did a Sonic one, I believe.
Mario and Luigi as well. Yeah, they're all over the place. I still haven't gotten all that, so I need to work on that. But
speaking of which, if you have Pokemon Sun and Moon, you can get Pikachu with Ash's hat. I got that the other day. I think you still get it.
Oh, really? Are you?
Yeah. Are you being sarcastic or are you being for real?
Where's my system? I didn't know that. Anyways, what else? There's something else that's big right now. That's oh man, it was right there. I can't remember. Anyways, all right. So don't stream Nintendo stuff on YouTube. You'll get fired. So, all right. Let's hit this last story here, and we can get out of here. Not that I want to get out of here, but I got to work in the morning.
I got to work tomorrow afternoon.
We still gotta make some money to pay these bills somehow. Valve will not be hosting its Steam Dev Days event this year. That kind of sucks, but I wonder if that's, I don't know.
You want me to read it?
Yeah, go for it.
113 episodes. We still haven't figured out trading off articles, people. That's how good we are. Valve will not be hosting its Steam Dev Days event. God, that's hard. Dev Days event this year, and may not
mainly because people can't say it,
according to a Valve representative. As reported by Gamasutra, the news comes from Tom Giardino, who handles business development and marketing at Valve. When asked on Twitter if the event would happen this year, Tom replied by saying, "Definitely not in 2017 and not very likely in 2018. What sort of things would you want to hear about any future Valve events or talks?" Well, I don't know. Maybe that you're developing stuff. That probably is what you want to hear about. But unless he's implying that they're going to hold a more direct one-on-one type of thing.
The Dev Days isn't for what Valve is releasing.
I mean, in general, what people are doing for Valve or what any kind of indie developers are doing,
right?
And that kind of thing. I'm saying, what was the point of the Dev Days? So we could see what the devs are doing these days. I tried to tie it in there. It didn't really work, so sorry. So Steam Dev Days is Valve's regular conference in which it speaks with developers working on its platform, such as Steam or the HTC Vive, while also showcasing its own tech. The company showed off its Steam machines in 2014, the Vive in 2016, for example. Valve also took a pass on the event in 2015, saying it didn't have anything to show off that year either. So, I mean, Valve does make games too, besides just physical products.
Do they? Do they though?
Well, they did. They just announced a little while ago that they will not be making a number 3, right? Of anything.
Yeah. I'm gonna look here, see what they've released in the last few years, because I'm pretty sure it's Dota 2. They did the lab for the VR headsets. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, Left 4 Dead Survivors.
I don't even remember that getting released.
It got released in Japan in 2014. So, let's see. Okay, so the only thing they got coming down the pipe is the Dota universe-based collectible card game called Artifact, and it'll come out sometime next year. That is all they have on their slate as far as.
Oh, that's right. They
concerned.
were making a card game, weren't they?
Yeah, they. Did you see that comic I posted? I'll have to find it. It was great. It was BioShock trying to teach Valve to count to 3.
Oh yeah.
And then it counts BioShock 1, BioShock 2, and then BioShock Infinite, and 2K Games is like crap. So they haven't been in the process of releasing anything lately. They don't have anything to release. This was all for their independent developers that they support, and I don't know what this means. I mean, I know they can the Greenlight program almost completely now.
Mm-hmm.
So there's still methods for you to get your games out on Steam, but it's not going through the Greenlight program anymore, which means I think it's going through a panel or something now at Valve, which instead of the general public, again, it's back in the hands of them. But don't quote me on that. I don't know if it's actually what's going on. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, see, and they passed in 2015 saying they didn't have anything to show off that year either. So it's not really telling. Valve's fine. There's nothing wrong with Valve. Valve is sitting pretty on a giant pile of money that's somehow supporting good old Gabe Newell. But that man is set for life, and I am pretty sure that Bill Gates regrets losing him. To be honest, could you imagine if Steam was a Microsoft product? Can you imagine what that would have done?
I don't want to.
What's that?
That sounds awful.
What?
But I understand where you're going with that.
No.
Yes.
If not saying that it's Microsoft Store, the oldest iteration of it. I'm saying, could you imagine if that forethought for something like Steam coming out of Microsoft? That would have been amazing. So,
I mean, yeah, no, you're right. It would have been amazing. I mean, and just what other innovations could he have potentially have made for them that wasn't necessarily gaming, but then we would have. I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of glad he did lose him though. Still.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I want more. I want them to do other stuff. But I mean, Steam's going to make them money forever.
Yeah.
I think Steam's got its teeth dug in this.
In everybody.
Uplay and even I've got good old games which I use for a lot of retro games that Steam doesn't have, but
Steam's got its dirty meat hooks in everybody to the point where they're rabid fans and they get pissed off every time a launcher like Steam comes out and they're like, oh, they're just trying to be Steam. They're like, no, they're just trying to do their own.
First of all, yes, they're trying to be like Steam because Steam makes $1 billion every week.
Right.
So yes, absolutely, and I don't mind other ones coming out. I don't. Can
you imagine? There is a skirt in PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds that probably market sells for between $200 and $400. The percentage of that transaction they get for nothing, literally nothing. Somebody's buying nothing for $200 to $400, and Steam's just like, I'll take a little bit of that transaction fee and be done. So, all right, well, let's get out of here. That's all we got for the week. Hopefully, these past 2 weeks. I think this is a pretty full episode to make up for that miss. So.
Yeah, we try to do that for you guys whenever we miss. We try not to miss too often, but sometimes we do. And to be fair, we had a really good reason. We really wanted to play D&D.
I mean, it's games. That's what we do here.
It's literally us playing pretend with each other, but it's so fun.
And like I said, you guys will get to sit in on some of that too if you choose. We'll make sure you guys know about that when that happens. But for now, thank you for everyone who stopped by in the chat room on on Twitch and YouTube, even though the Twitch ones were kind of rambunctious tonight. Um,
Oh, that's even better.
Right. Well, they were in rare form tonight. That's what I'm talking about. Please leave us feedback on our show, wherever you get it from, Google Play Store. We're on, what's that one streaming? TuneIn Radio. We're on there. We've got a channel on there. But anyways, yeah, just give us a review somewhere. You can even review us on Facebook. I found out, and I'll make sure those show up. Facebook is so convoluted on their pages. But anyways, and don't forget to check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/stasisgeek.
Hey, you want to contact us and you're not online when we're online doing this show? You can contact us at ECG_podcast on Twitter and our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/ECGpodcast, or our email address at ecgpodcast@gmail.com. Also, visit us at our webpage, www.stasisgeek.com. That's STASISGEEK.com. Or post a comment on our video like Jeremy didn't say, and we would probably read it and like it, or what he'll do is he'll say, oh, we got a comment. Hey, Opie, go read it. I'm like, but it's so many words. And then I have to read it, and then I try to make a witty comment, but then I'm not that funny. And
if we don't make a comment, we'll at least give it a thumbs up.
We will always give a comment, maybe, even if it's like, okay.
Well, there was that one comment from Jay Dickens that said he liked Enterprise, so...
Yeah, well, okay, that didn't deserve anything.
All right, we'll be back next week for sure. We got a nice long weekend off, so we'll make sure we get something in there. Until then, stay geeky.